my dears, welcome back to Physics Wala. So today we are going to discuss about the most important topics from chemistry that you can score more than 20 marks. Okay, so in 10 minutes we can just look on the 10 chapters and the most important topics from this 10 chapters. And our first chapter is solution chapter, and the solution chapter is the most important chapter for our board exam, and from this section lot of numericals will be coming. And mainly related to the colligative properties, we want to learn about 4 colligative property, and from the colligative properties like elevation of boiling point, depression and freezing point, and Van Hoff factor, related to that many problems will be there. And also from the concentration terms like molality, mole fraction, we are expecting numericals. So it's a very important chapter. From this chapter, like 7 marks questions will be there for your board exam. Then our next chapter is electrochemistry, and electrochemistry is also a problem chapter and it's a physical chemistry chapter. And from this chapter we want to learn about the derivations, not only derivations, the Nernst equation, and related to the Nernst equation numericals will be there. So concentrate on the Nernst equation. Okay, then and we want to calculate the conductance using the Kohlrash's law, molal, and then molal conductance, limiting molar conductivity, like many topics are coming under that Kohlrash's law. And also the batteries like primary batteries, the secondary battery, and its examples, and its oxidation, reduction, and total reactions we want to learn. That is very important for your board exams. And from this battery section, like 3 or 4 mark questions are repeatedly asked for your boards. Okay, then the third chapter is chemical kinetics. That is also a problem chapter. Chemical kinetics is related to the rate of the reactions, and from that integrated rate laws are very important. That first order reaction, rate constant, and the half-life calculation. And the last thing is Arrhenius equation, and determine the activation energy EA from the temperature variance is very important for your boards. And like 2 mark questions are repeatedly asked from this Arrhenius equation section. Okay, and next one is, and not only this one, we want to know about the units like first order, zero order, and second order. That units are very important. MCQ questions are asked repeatedly from the unit section also. Then our fourth chapter is D and F block elements. D and F block elements is a theory chapter, and from that section the main topic is that board exam related main topic is trends and reasoning, cause and consequences of lanthanide contraction, variable oxidation state, catalytic action, and color formation. These are the main topics that you need to ponder for your exam. Then the chemical reactions, the preparation and oxidizing behavior of KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7. Don't skip this topic, my students, because these are very important for your exam. KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7, its structure is there and preparation is there and uses are very important. Okay, so stress that topic and give importance for the KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7 and the trends. Okay, then our next chapter is coordination compounds. Our 5th chapter, the coordination compounds, we want to give more importance for the nomenclature of the coordination compounds and nomenclature, that IUPAC naming is there, and the bond theories like hybridization, magnetic properties, VBT theory, and along with the crystal field splitting in tetrahedral and octahedral complex, that is CFT. Crystal field splitting theory is very important, and related to that we want to draw the diagrams of the splitting also. So learn that. That is very important. That will help you to score more than 3 marks for your boards. Okay, then our 6th chapter, we are going to the organic chapters, the next part. Our first part is over. The second part of the textbook contains the organic chapters, and the organic chapter first one is haloalkanes and haloarenes. In that is very easy chapter. Preparations are the preparation, we are expecting 1 or 2 mark question, and focus on the naming reactions. From this chapter we are starting the naming reactions, mainly Sandmeyer reaction is there, Fringleson reaction, Schwarz reaction, and like many reactions coming in the other chapters also. So give importance for the naming reaction. That is very important for your exam. So mainly we are starting with SN1 and SN2 reaction, that is substitution nucleophilic, unimolecular, and bimolecular reaction, and its outcomes and the order of reactivity. And like as I told you, the naming reaction, Woods-Fittig is there. Then Sandmeyer reaction, electrophilic substitution reaction, not only Woods-Fittig, Fittig is there, Woods-Fittig is there, Woods reaction is there, Sandmeyer, then Finkelstein, Schwarz, and Friedel-Crafts. This much naming reactions are coming in this chapter. So focus on that naming reactions. Sure questions will be coming from this naming reaction section. Okay, so we can go to the next organic chapter. The next organic chapter is, so the next chapter is alcohol, phenols and ethers, and from this chapter mainly the questions are asked from the acidic strength section, and the acidic strength, related to this acidic strength, the comparison of phenol acidity versus alcohol's effect of substituent groups are repeatedly asked for your boards. And the next one is distinction and mechanism. That means many naming reactions are also coming in this chapter, like Lucas test is there, hydration or dehydration, mechanism, and Raymer-Thiemann and Kolb's reaction are the main naming reactions asked from this chapter. So don't skip this naming reaction. That is very, very important for your boards, my dears. Then the next chapter is our next organic chapter, that is aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acid, and we should know the name of the many important reaction. That is must know name reactions are there, and that is very, very important for your main exam. That is 3-mark questions like aldol condensation, that is repeatedly asked for your board exam. Aldol condensation, Cross-aldol condensation, Cannizzaro reaction, Clemenceau reduction, Wolff-Kishner reduction. These are the main naming reaction asked from this chapter. So this chapter is very big chapter and also very, very important for your boards, because many naming reaction, and that is also very important naming reactions for your exam. Okay, and that the functional test, that is we are doing in our lab, right? Functional group test we are doing for alcohol, aldehyde, ketone, like the test we are learning in this chapter. The functional test like distinguishing via tolerance reagent, Fillings test and iodoform test. These 3 tests are very, very important, and focus on the 3 tests. Okay, that will be useful for your practicals also. Then our next chapter is amines, the last organic chapter, amines. In this amines, mainly the questions are related to basicity. The last one was related to acidic strength, and from here it was related to the basic trends. The basic character of the primary, secondary and tertiary aliphatic and aromatic amines in aqueous versus gas phase, and the named conversions. The conversions related to Hofmann bromamide degradation, carbolamine test, and diazonium and salt synthetic utility are the main topics from this chapter. So don't skip these topics. This will be very useful for your boards. Then our last chapter is the easiest one, that is biomolecules. Related to the biomolecules, we want to focus on the carbohydrates. The carbohydrate glucose reaction, providing its straight chain structure, presence of carbonyl hydroxyl group. Like we want to learn about the 6 reaction related to the presence of many groups on the glucose. That is very, very important. Focus on that. Then proteins and nucleic acids, primarily through quaternary protein structures, denaturation, peptide bonds, and structural difference between DNA and RNA. That is very, very important. So focus on these topics. These are the important topics from biomolecules. So my dears, these will be the most important topics for your final boards. So prepare well, and these 10 chapters are very, very important for your further higher studies. So all the best for your exam. Thank you.